My husband stole my birthday money to take my sister on a spa vacation. He said it was a work retreat. I believed him. I helped him pack, even folded his shirts. While I ate alone on my birthday, they sipped wine by the pool. He used the $500 my grandma gave me to buy champagne and rub her back. And they never thought I'd find out. He gave me a cheap pair of earrings before he left. Said he'd make it up to me. Kissed me like he was leaving for war. I spent that weekend on the couch. Thai food. Streaming shows I barely watched. Pretending I didn't care. Then Kayla texted me. A 10-second video. Poolside. Blurry, but clear enough. His arm around her. My sister. Laughing. Relaxed. Like I never existed. I opened my wallet. The cash? Gone. That was the moment I stopped being his wife and started becoming his wake-up call. I used to think we had one of those quietly solid marriages. Not flashy. Not perfect. But real. Marcus and I met through my stepdad, actually. He worked at the same law firm, a few years ahead of me. I was just finishing my internship when we got paired on this nightmare client project. Long hours. Way too much takeout. And somehow in between red lines and court filings, we started talking about music, bad high school tattoos, and our mutual hatred of group photos. By the end of that summer, he'd memorized my coffee order, and I'd fallen for the way he could argue his way through any conversation, but never with me. With me, he listened. We got married 3 years later. Backyard wedding. My mom cried. Melissa was one of my bridesmaids. Melissa's always been complicated. She's my half-sister. Same mom. Different dads. She's 5 years younger, pretty in that effortless way, and for most of our childhood, she got away with everything. My mom used to say she was sensitive. What she meant was Melissa could lie through her teeth and somehow still get dessert. I played the big sister role hard, helped her with homework, covered for her when she missed curfew, let her borrow my clothes even when they came back stretched or stained. As adults, we drifted a little. Different cities, different lives. But she always had a key to our place. She'd crash on our couch when she was in town, and Marcus always said she reminded him of a younger, messier version of me. I should have paid more attention to the way he smiled when he said that. Life wasn't perfect, but we'd settled into something stable. We bought a small house near the lake, nothing fancy, but I loved it. Marcus worked more than I did, but he always made space for the important stuff. Anniversary dinners, movie nights, and especially my birthday. Last year, he surprised me with a private wine tasting tour. The year before, it was a rooftop dinner with all my closest friends. He had a knack for making me feel seen like I mattered. So when he told me about the work retreat this year, I didn't question it. He looked tired, frustrated. Said the timing was awful, but his firm was requiring all team leads to attend some leadership intensive in Napa. I remember feeling disappointed, but not suspicious. He kissed my forehead and said he'd make it up to me. The next day, he texted from the airport. Send me a picture of his boarding pass. Wish you were here, he wrote. And I did. I missed him that weekend. Even Melissa wasn't around. She'd sent a vague text the week before about needing a reset and going offline for a bit. I figured she was at some yoga thing in Arizona or upstate with her off-again boyfriend. I had no reason to doubt either of them. I made myself a cake. Called my mom. Binge-watched a show I wasn't that into, just to keep my mind off feeling a little forgotten. I even cleaned out my purse and set aside the $500 in birthday cash my grandma had mailed me like she does every year. Slipped it into my wallet. Told myself I'd deposit it next week. Funny how small moments like that end up meaning everything later. At the time, I thought it was just another birthday. But looking back, it was the beginning of the unraveling. And I didn't see it coming. 3 days before my birthday, Marcus came home later than usual. Tie loose, sleeves rolled. He dropped his briefcase by the door and rubbed his eyes like he'd been dealing with a crisis all day. I have some bad news, he said. My stomach sank. I thought someone had died. Instead, he told me about the retreat. It's mandatory, he said. They're flying us out to Napa. It's all team leads. Leadership training, bonding stuff, corporate nonsense. I fought it, I really did, but I waved him off. It's okay. Work is work. But he kept apologizing. Over and over. He said he'd make it up to me, that we could plan something better when he got back. Maybe Big Sur. Maybe Portland. We've never done the coast properly, he said, kissing my temple. Just us, no distractions. I wanted to believe him. And I did. The night before he left, he gave me a tiny velvet box. Inside were silver studs. Not expensive, but tasteful. He said he picked them up at the airport gift shop early, just in case he got busy. I know it's not much, he said, but I didn't want to leave empty-handed. I smiled. They're nice. They reminded me of you. I remember hugging him and thinking, maybe I was lucky. Maybe some people had husbands who forgot their birthdays entirely, and here mine was, apologizing like he missed Christmas. I helped him pack. I folded his shirts, reminded him to take the allergy meds he always forgets, and even threw in one of those stupid company-branded polos for team-building photos. The irony of that now makes me sick. He left early Friday. I waved him off from the porch, coffee in hand, trying not to let the sting of being left alone on my birthday show on my face. I didn't want to make him feel guilty. That night, I ordered takeout. Thai food. Extra spicy because I didn't have to share. I curled up on the couch with a blanket and a bottle of Red from the pantry. Watched 2 seasons of a cooking show I wasn't invested in. Dozed off during episode 7. Saturday, I FaceTimed my mom. She asked what Marcus had planned for me. I told her about the retreat. She frowned for a second, then smiled and said, well, that's unfortunate timing. Looking back, that pause was everything. But at the time, I didn't ask. Melissa didn't text. No happy birthday, no gifts, no memes. Nothing. I figured she was off-grid like she said. Or maybe she forgot. Wouldn't be the first time. She'd always been the type to float through dates like they weren't real. She was the kind of person who needed a second calendar just to remember dentist appointments. I wasn't mad. Just disappointed. By Sunday night, I was a little stir-crazy. I went for a walk around the neighborhood. The air smelled like jasmine and charcoal. Some neighbors' parties spilled out onto their lawn, laughter, music, people clinking glasses under twinkle lights. I remember wondering if Marcus was at some vineyard dinner with coworkers, doing wine tastings and icebreakers. I texted him, hope the retreat's going okay. Love you. No reply. I went to bed early. Monday morning, he came back like nothing had happened. Smelled like hotel shampoo and pine-scented cologne. He kissed me hello, handed me a bag of fancy chocolate from the resort gift shop, and said, God, that was exhausting. Remind me never to share a shuttle with finance again. I laughed. I believed every word. He asked about my weekend. I told him it was quiet. He said he was sorry again. I told him it was fine. It wasn't. But I didn't know that yet. It was Tuesday afternoon when the message came in. Kayla. We weren't close, more like friendly acquaintances. We'd worked on a charity event together 2 years ago, and she still replied to my Instagram stories now and then with emojis or random memes. Her text said, Hey, weird question. Are you alone? Can you call me when you get a minute? I figured she wanted to vent about something awkward. Maybe someone cheated on a friend, or she needed advice on a contractor. But something in her tone felt off. I called her. She picked up fast. Is Marcus home? She asked. No, he's at work. Why? Silence. Then a sigh. Okay. I wasn't going to say anything, but I saw something. I don't know if it means anything, but it felt wrong not to tell you. I went cold. What did you see? One of my mutuals posted a story over the weekend. She and her husband were at a resort in Napa, spa weekend. Nothing fancy. But in the background of one of the clips, I swear to God, Claire, I saw Marcus. And someone who looked exactly like your sister. I didn't breathe. She said she saved the story, screen recorded it before it expired. Asked if I wanted to see it. I said yes. 30 seconds later, my phone dinged. I opened the video. Just 10 seconds. Poolside. Blurred background. Someone sipping a mimosa. And then, there they were. Marcus in that hideous navy vest I helped him pack. Melissa in a white bikini, leaning into him like it was the most natural thing in the world. His arm around her. His fingers tracing lazy circles on her back. Both of them smiling. Laughing. Like they were on vacation. Like I didn't exist. I played it over. Again. Again. There was no mistaking it. Not a coworker. Not a misunderstanding. That was my husband. That was my sister. I sat frozen, phone in hand, until the screen went dark. Then I stood up, walked to my bedroom, and opened my wallet. The envelope my grandma sent me, with $500 in birthday cash, was gone. Vanished. I checked our joint bank account. There it was. A $1,250 withdrawal from the Friday morning he left for the airport. Nothing labeled spa or travel, just a lump sum pulled out before sunrise. My stomach flipped. I opened the browser and looked up the resort name from the gift bag chocolate wrapper. It wasn't hard to find. Napa's full of those luxury retreats. I called their front desk, pretending to be Marcus's assistant. Said I needed a receipt for expense reporting. The woman on the phone was cheerful. Helpful. Oh yes, Mr. Holloway's stay was lovely. 2 guests, Friday through Sunday. Romantic package. I felt my mouth go dry. Do you have the payment method on file? Sure. Paid in full, $800 cash, remainder on a MasterCard ending in 9427. That was our joint card. He didn't just lie. He didn't just cheat. He stole my birthday money to take my sister on a luxury spa weekend. The earrings he gave me? Probably an afterthought, bought at a gas station kiosk on the way home. I hung up, and I sat there in silence. Not crying. Not yet. Just shaking. It wasn't even the affair that broke me. It was the ease of it. The carelessness. The way they didn't even try to hide. As if I were nothing more than background noise to their little fantasy. Like I'd been erased. And in that moment, something shifted. I wasn't broken. I was done. I didn't confront him that night. I didn't throw my phone. I didn't scream. I didn't even flinch when Marcus walked through the front door, kissed me on the cheek, and asked what was for dinner. I just smiled. Said I was tired. And went to bed early. But I didn't sleep. I stayed up, laptop open, earbuds in, one tab for our joint accounts, another for the resort website, a third for a list of local divorce attorneys. I started with the finances. Marcus always said I was too detail-oriented when it came to money. What he meant was, he hated that I noticed things. But I hadn't been looking closely, not really. I trusted him. Big mistake. In the past 6 months, there'd been dozens of small withdrawals. Labeled groceries or gas, but I remembered every grocery run, every receipt. And these weren't mine. He'd also been paying off something called primary credit in $300 chunks every other week. I didn't recognize it. So I called the bank the next morning, pretending to update my account preferences. I asked about any outstanding balances or lines of credit associated with my name. That's when it dropped. Marcus had opened a $25,000 personal loan 6 months ago under my name. He was listed as the co-signer. The loan payments had been coming out of our joint account, disguised as routine expenses. The mailing address for the statements had been rerouted to his office. And because we were married and the loan listed both our incomes, the bank hadn't flagged anything. I couldn't breathe. He hadn't just stolen birthday money. He'd stolen my credit. He was funding a romantic side life with my sister using my name. My future. My signature. I forwarded the documents to a lawyer, a woman named Candace who specialized in financial abuse and high-conflict divorces. Her assistant called back within 2 hours. We booked a consult for the next morning. That afternoon, I went quiet. Collected what mattered. Birth certificates. Social security cards. My grandma's ring. The photos I'd printed of my dad before he passed. Melissa still hadn't reached out. Of course not. She didn't think she'd need to. I wasn't supposed to know. But I remembered something else. A week before Marcus's work trip, Melissa had come by the house. Said she needed to grab some shoes she left the last time she stayed over. While I was making tea, she'd wandered into my room. 10 minutes later, she popped out and casually asked, "Hey, do you still get cash from Grandma every year?" She used to send me a check. I laughed. "Yeah, she still does. It's in my wallet somewhere. Haven't deposited it yet." She smiled. "Lucky you." I hadn't thought about it again. Not until now. She knew. She asked. She played it off, and then she took it. Not just the money. Everything. I looked around the house we shared. The kitchen I stocked. The bathroom I cleaned. The pillows I fluffed. All while they planned their weekend retreat. So I started making plans of my own. I waited until Thursday. Marcus got home around 6, loosened his tie like always, dropped his keys in the bowl by the door. I was sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, a folder beside me. He smiled. "Hey babe." I slid my phone across the table. The screen was paused on the resort video. Melissa. Him. Laughing by the pool. He froze. His smile didn't even have time to fall, it just vanished. I didn't say a word. His face went pale, then red, then twisted into something smug. "That's not what it looks like," he started. I stayed quiet. She was going through a tough time, he continued. I was just supporting her. "You always said she was fragile." I reached into the folder, pulled out a printout of the resort invoice. "Romantic weekend package," I said. "Paid in cash and our joint card. On my birthday." He opened his mouth, then shut it. "And the money Grandma gave me?" I asked. "You know, the $500 that went missing from my wallet?" He stared at me. Didn't blink. Then he smiled. Cold. Arrogant. "I mean, you never deposited it. What did you expect?" I nodded slowly. "And the personal loan in my name? The one you used to book those other trips with Melissa?" That wiped the smile clean off his face. I laid down the bank statement, highlighted in yellow. Payment history. Routing info. My name. He looked cornered. For a second, I thought he'd panic. Instead, he scoffed. You always had to control everything. Maybe if you'd relaxed once in a while, I wouldn't have needed someone like Melissa. I blinked. You needed someone like Melissa to lie with, or to lie for you? He didn't answer. I stood up, calm as I'd ever been. I spoke to a lawyer. Her name is Candace. She'll be in touch. I turned and walked toward our bedroom. Behind me, he laughed, short and bitter. You think you'll land on your feet after this? With what, Claire? You don't even know how to be alone. I didn't turn around. I just opened the drawer, pulled out a pre-packed bag, and zipped it shut. He followed me to the hallway, still talking. Angry now. Words tumbling over each other. You're overreacting. It was just one weekend. We can fix this. I brushed past him. He grabbed my wrist. Big mistake. I yanked free hard enough to make him stumble. Don't touch me. His face contorted, but he didn't try again. I walked out the front door without slamming it, got in my car, drove 3 blocks, parked under a streetlight, and sobbed. Not because I was heartbroken, but because I finally understood. He didn't ruin me. He revealed me. And I was done being the quiet wife in the background of her own life. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I called in, said I needed a mental health day, and meant it. By noon, I was sitting across from Candace in her office, signing papers. She walked me through every step, her voice steady, her presence grounding. I brought everything, screenshots, receipts, the bank statements, even the spa invoice. She flipped through the folder and said calmly, "You've already done half my job for me." That night, while Marcus was out, probably spinning his own version of events to whoever would listen, I packed the rest of my things. Not everything, just what was mine. Clothes, photos, jewelry my dad gave me before he passed, my grandmother's antique reading chair. I didn't take the couch. I didn't want it. I didn't take the wedding china or the framed honeymoon photos still hanging in the hallway. Let him explain that to his next guest. I left the keys on the kitchen table. On top of them, I placed my wedding ring and a note, handwritten on plain white paper. You said I didn't know how to keep a man. Apparently, neither does my sister. Then I walked out. No yelling. No final scene. Just silence. I drove to Jason's rental, my cousin, the one who offered me the space without asking why. The place smelled like fresh paint and lemon cleaner. Half the cabinets were empty. The fridge was a blank slate. It was nothing like the home I left. And that was the point. That night, I curled up on a borrowed mattress, surrounded by boxes and quiet. I didn't cry. I didn't feel triumphant either. Just free. The first text from Marcus came in an hour later. Where are you? Then. We need to talk. Then. I messed up, okay? I turned off my phone, and for the first time in a long time, I slept without grinding my teeth. No nightmares. No second guessing. Just sleep. It's been 3 weeks since I walked out, and I've learned a lot about how quickly people panic when they realize their safety net just left. Marcus spiraled first. He called, texted, emailed, left voicemails that started firm, "We need to be adults about this," and slowly slid into pleading. Please just talk to me. We can fix this. You're making it worse than it is. I didn't reply. I forwarded everything to Candace. By the second week, he changed tactics, got quiet. Then I received a message from his work email, not from him, but from his company's legal department. They were conducting an internal review, following a report of inappropriate conduct. Apparently, Marcus had listed my name and address on multiple travel reimbursement claims, some of which didn't match his calendar or official client logs. They asked me to confirm a few details. I didn't say much, just attached the spa receipt, the booking confirmation, and a redacted screenshot of the Instagram video. A few days later, I heard from Candace again. Marcus wanted to settle. No drawn-out court battle. No property dispute. He'd sign whatever we wanted, as long as the divorce didn't formally cite adultery as the reason. Candace raised an eyebrow. Sounds like someone's trying to protect their image. I asked her to include one condition: he pays all legal fees. After some back and forth, we agreed on him covering 85% of everything. I said yes. I wanted this over. Melissa, meanwhile, had finally reached out. She didn't apologize. Instead, she sent a message that said, "He's changed. He misses you. We both made mistakes." I didn't respond. She showed up at my cousin's house a few days later, unannounced, and stood outside the fence crying. Jason told her to leave. She did. Eventually. My mom called me crying that night. Said Melissa was staying at her place, sleeping on the couch. That Dad barely looked at her. That she cried every night but still tried to make herself the victim. I listened. but I didn't offer advice. My mom asked if I hated her. I said no. I just don't trust her. And I don't have space for people who protect themselves more than they protect me. She went quiet after that. A week later, I got a letter from the bank. The personal loan Marcus opened under my name? It had a clause allowing cosigner release if one party filed a formal fraud report and provided evidence. I filed it. He tried to fight it, of course. Said I knew about the loan and benefited from it. Candace sent them a detailed record of his purchases. Spa weekends, jewelry, a drone, for God's sake. They dropped his appeal. The loan? Now fully in his name. Last week, I finally went back to our old house. He wasn't there. I'd coordinated with the movers in advance. Took the last of my things, a few books, my father's old record player, and the dog-eared copy of To Kill a Mockingbird he used to read to me when I was little. I left everything else. Except for one thing. There was a watch. Marcus had ordered it the week after I found out, an overpriced, limited edition monstrosity he charged to our joint account. It had been delivered just before I left. I found it still in its box, sitting on the dresser. So I took it, returned it. The refund went back to our joint account, which was still open, temporarily, while the paperwork finalized. I moved my half out an hour later. By the time Marcus noticed, it was too late. Now, I'm in a little apartment with a view of the hills. I wake up early, go for walks, drink my coffee in silence. It tastes like peace. They thought I'd take it forever. They were wrong. In today's world, financial and emotional betrayal often go hand in hand, and they rarely come with warning signs. Claire's story is a reminder that love should never cost you your sense of reality or security. Always trust your instincts, monitor your shared finances, and protect your legal identity, even in marriage. If something feels off, it probably is. And if someone repeatedly shows you they don't respect your boundaries, believe them. You're not crazy for asking questions, and you're not difficult for demanding the truth. Quiet strength, like Claire's, is often the first step toward freedom and peace.